Welcome back to another episode of CoinSpice. For those of you who don't know me, I am Ross. I also go by the name of Hinglish Investor. I cover the Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and fintech scene in India. In this episode, I want to look at India as a case study example for what happens when a government tries to ban Bitcoin. And I want to show you what has happened since that day when the RBI, the Reserve Bank of India, tried to regulate Bitcoin, tried to ban cryptocurrencies from the country. So let's have a look at this first article. It's been just over 1 year since the Reserve Bank of India decided to ban all of the regulated banks in India from buying or selling cryptocurrencies, or even from participating with exchanges that deal with cryptocurrencies themselves. And people of India have not been able to send money transfers, send transfers of their rupees to these exchange platforms. And this has definitely and very obviously created a hindrance from people that have directly wanted to buy cryptocurrencies on exchanges with their savings, with the money that they have earned in the country legally. So we've now started seeing pop-ups of what are known as peer-to-peer services or peer-to-peer exchanges in the country of India. These peer-to-peer services are not exchanges. What they do is they put a buyer and seller together in basically what is like a conversation and say, we're going to help you connect. Now you can do the trading between yourselves. We're not an exchange. You're not buying the cryptocurrencies from me. You're buying it from someone else, another human being who's selling it to you. So by creating this peer-to-peer service, these businesses have basically been able to circumvent what has been a very harsh regulation on the banks. And it's been a relatively innovative method for these services to actually participate in the Indian market, where they know there's a lot of money just waiting to be put into cryptocurrencies. A lot of wealthy investors in the country of India who want to buy or sell crypto. One interesting fact is that there are actually more billionaires living in the city of Mumbai than there are in Los Angeles, who have very likely been looking at cryptocurrencies as an alternative to gold, as an alternative to other stores of value, the highly inflationary Indian rupee, and everything else that the Indian government allows people to buy or sell in the country. Buying or selling gold is obviously something that the country has been addicted to for a very long time, but people are clearly realizing that that is not the only way we're going to hold wealth in the future. That is potentially a very risky strategy to hold too much wealth in the form of just one single asset of gold. So of course, this video is just highlighting this fact that you cannot hold people from buying or selling things that they want to buy or sell. It's just basically either impossible, or the maximum thing you can do as a government is just create a hindrance or slow down people from buying or selling certain things, or just make the lives of poor people much worse than it already is in the country of India. Because it's quite clear that if you're rich in the country of India, then it's quite easier for you to send your money abroad to another country like Singapore, Switzerland, Dubai, and send your money abroad to these countries that are more accepting of cryptocurrencies. This is not something that's possible for the poor, obviously, because they might not have a bank account in a foreign country. They might not know anybody in another country, but it's something that the rich are always able to do. Now, the benefits of cryptocurrencies are most likely going to be seen with the poorer classes of the world, the people who are subject to most of the inflationary policies of government. So actually all the government is doing in this case is just making the lives of people worse, much worse than it already is in a country like India, where poverty is quite prevalent still today. It's very common to see very, very poor classes of people who store most of their money in the Indian rupee, which is quite clearly a horrible way to store your money, especially with the current inflation rates of India. It's hovering around 3% since the last year, but it goes up and down. It touches 4%, 5%. It's completely unreliable to hold the Indian rupee in massive quantities and expect you not to lose wealth, to securely store wealth over a long amount of time. So an example of a cryptocurrency exchange in India where people have been able to buy or sell crypto on a peer-to-peer platform rather than buying it from the exchange is this exchange called WazirX, And for those of you who want to find out more about peer-to-peer and what does it actually mean, there's an excellent article on Investopedia. And the platform exists just to make sure that each person does send their currency, does send their cryptocurrency or their fiat currency to the other person as is expected in a peer-to-peer transaction. And you don't get people who just take the cryptocurrency and then run away. And this goes to show it's not that simple when it comes to banning Bitcoin or banning cryptocurrencies. Governments need to start thinking about these things as well. And one more thing that I want to mention is that India has formed what is a interministerial committee, basically a task force of ministers that have come together to form advice on how to regulate cryptocurrencies, how to regulate virtual currencies in the country. India has basically had no regulation, no legislation at all when it comes to crypto. It's also possible that India has been sitting back and waiting for other countries to regulate or do something about cryptocurrencies and see and learn from those countries. But anyway, what this interministerial committee on cryptocurrencies has come up with is a very thorough ban on cryptocurrency related activities. Now, this is still just a recommendation that is going to be submitted to the Ministry of Finance that is responsible eventually for the regulation in India. And you can see how many activities this committee is recommending to ban by the government. And it includes things like using cryptocurrencies as a payment system, to buy or sell cryptocurrencies, to provide cryptocurrency related services, to trade crypto, to issue cryptocurrencies, or raising funds using cryptocurrencies, or using cryptocurrency as an investment. So this time around, they seem to have tried to cover more aspects around cryptocurrency related activities. But once again, there is absolutely no guarantee at all that India is going to be able to successfully prohibit people from taking part in anything to do with crypto. There's always a way around regulation. There's always a loophole. And at the end of the day, for the rich people, there's always the option of leaving the country or of circumnavigating law by sending your money abroad to a more accepting country. But overall, India seems like it's becoming an experimental model for what happens when governments outright ban cryptocurrencies with very harsh sentences of up to 10 years of imprisonment, which is actually worse than possessing cocaine in India right now. I just want to highlight that. And it's definitely going to be something very interesting to see what happens in the country. So that's it for this episode. I hope it was useful for you. Make sure you hit the like button and share this video if you found it useful. Make sure you also subscribe to this channel and subscribe to my channel, Hinglish Investor. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope you have a lovely day.